So I should probably enable screen sharing. So without necessarily talking about the specific tool, because I don't necessarily want to give them free advertising. And we could talk, I mean, I'm not opposed to talking about the specifics, but give us the high level of what this tool is and what appeals to you about it.
So my understanding is somehow, and I don't know exactly how, which is what I'm going to ask them, is if you are going on an e-commerce site, and normally what happens is, I mean, it's pretty straightforward to implement some type of a cart abandonment, but that requires the person to have logged in so that they can tie the email message to an email address. Otherwise, if you haven't logged in, then there's nothing that they can do about that. So supposedly this tool, and I don't know how they do it, but they have, I don't know if they've got some cookie on your computer or something that happens to where they or they match some kind of pattern that you're looking at with their big database of email addresses. And then they can almost do, without them logging in, a cart abandonment type of function, or allowing you to potentially reach out to those people that are browsing on your website. So this came to me, this question came to me from a client.
Yeah.
And they want to like, what do you think? And I'm like, I don't know what to think. And as I looked at it, I'm like, well, I don't mind learning new things. And I thought, well, let me do a quick demo with them. Why not? And so, so I thought, let me bring it up to you guys.
Yeah. So I had a different read, and maybe you read in more depth than I did, but I had a different read of the tool. I understood it was grow your email list by being on our partners' email lists on a cost per acquisition basis.
That might be part of it. I think I was looking at it more specifically for how it could help these guys.
Okay.
And honestly, and I don't, and it might be that I have no idea how they make their money.
Right.
I just don't.
Right. Well, there was a cost per acquisition statement on their website. And anything with cost per acquisition, whether you're doing an email list or Google Ads, you know, this presupposes you know the value of an acquisition, right? And so, you know, it might sound like a deal to pay a $5 cost per acquisition, for instance, right? I paid $5 and I got someone to sign up on my list or to purchase a product. That might sound good, but the value of what we do is that we can, bye, sweetie. The value of what we can do is we should know the cost per, the value per acquisition. In other words, if we know how much having someone on an email list is worth, or how much a lead from Google Ads is worth, then we should be able to know what a good cost per acquisition is. So let's, so I guess what I'm suggesting to you is, no matter what marketing channel you might use or method, always apply the principles that we use in Curious Ants to it, and know how much value do we get out of acquiring a lead, for instance, knowing that not every lead is going to be a sale.
Right.
Not every email on our list is going to be a purchase.
Correct.
And so to first make that calculation, then know how much you can spend. Otherwise, you're just kind of guessing.
Right.
And the real value of what we do marketing wise is to be able to say, I know how much a lead is worth to me, because I know my close rate on a lead is 1 out of every 10, and I make $500 from a closed lead. Therefore, I'd be willing to spend, right, how much per acquisition.
Correct.
Right? and that is just kind of a general principle for all digital marketing that can help you make sure you're not just blowing money. Well, surely I'm getting something, right? There's so many companies that blow money on marketing, and they surely must be getting something from it. But in reality, they don't know.
Right.
You know, this is almost worse when it's a big enterprise level company where they're kind of lost in the weeds and have no idea how much a lead is worth to them. They just keep blowing money because they almost have unlimited pockets. But in reality, it comes down to it, they're like, well, I can't afford an SEO campaign. Why? Well, because I'm blowing money on press releases, right? Or email lists, purchasing emails for an email list or something absurd like that, because they've never done the calculation to do that. So I guess what I'm encouraging is, as you look at this tool, or maybe at least when you understand the cost of this tool, then push back on the client and say, okay, great. If it's a cost per acquisition model, what's our value for acquisition? What is, yeah. And then once they know that, then you can say, okay. And then you know, there's other things, kind of lifetime acquisition, right? So, you know,
value of the client.
Lifetime of a value is a lot better than the first time value. So you might be willing to break even on the acquisition because you know the lifetime value is this. But if we've never calculated those things,
yeah,
we could just be blowing money, and then it's blowing money away from things that definitely work, like a good SEO campaign.
Yes. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Thank you for the reminder for that.
Okay.
It's because, like, yeah, I remember all of that. And yeah, thank you for the reminder. So that's definitely what I'm going to do. Is I'm going to push back to the client, and well, because we've talked to the client about the SEO that we're doing, and the guy who's really gonna say yes or no has said, there's no doubt that what we're doing for the SEO, bless you. There's no doubt what we're doing for our SEO. There's no doubt on our website. It's like it's like another salesperson on our site. We look enough at the data, it's like another salesperson. So they're happy, right? They're spending money to make a lot more money, which is what I wanted. I want them to be in that position.
Yes.
So that same exact principle needs to be able to apply to this using the data that they've got. Okay, that's good. So I'll talk with these guys, see what they're more about, and see. But I think here's the message. Regardless of if I think these guys are good or not, regardless, I'm going to tell the client, it's like, here's the approach that you have to have. Thank you for the reminder. Thank you for the reminder. You got to start knowing these numbers and knowing that, hey, if you're going to get more leads, if you're going to do ads or whatever, bringing people to the site, you got to know what you think the number of how much every visitor is really going to be.
Right.
All that stuff.
Right. Good. Okay. Thank you for letting me get that off my chest.